Welcome to your mat. My name is Meghan Coy. We're going to begin in seated today, so go ahead and find a comfortable seat on your mat. I like to place a block under my glutes so I can sit nice and tall. Close your eyes and just take a few moments here to come into your breath. Taking long, slow, deep breaths in and out of the belly. And take this opportunity to release anything else off of your mat here so that you can bring your full awareness to your breath and to the movement in your body. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, slowly lower your chin towards your chest. On your inhale, roll right ear to right shoulder. And then exhale back, chin to chest. Inhale, left ear to left shoulder. Exhale, chin to chest. Good. Continuing on like this, side to side, moving slowly at the pace of your breath. Good. Relaxing the shoulders down the back as you move your head. And come back to center and release. Make your way into tabletop now. So we'll move that block out of the way and place it at the back of your mat. You might need that a little bit later. Coming into tabletop here. Good. Inhale, drop the belly down, bring the gaze up. And then exhale, cat pose, chin to chest, round through the back. Inhale, cow pose. Exhale, cat pose. Really tuck that tailbone. Good. Do it again. Inhale, belly down, gaze up. Exhale, chin to chest, push the mat away. Again, inhale, shoulders away from the ears. Exhale. Good. Return to a neutral spine here. Coming into spinal balance, reach the right hand forward, left leg back. Good. Belly pulls in. Now bend your knee and reach back with the right hand, taking hold of the top of your lifted foot. Gently kick into your hand, allowing that right shoulder to open up. Good. Release back to your spinal balance. Hold here. And release. Nice work. Remember to stay with your breath. We'll switch to the other side. So left hand forward, right leg back. Pause here and breathe. Pulling the navel to spine. Nice strong support for the spine here. Good. Now bend the knee. Reach back with your left hand. Take hold of your foot and gently kick into your hand. Rolling the left shoulder open. Breathe and release. Good. Back to your spinal balance. And return to tabletop. Good. Make your way into high plank here. So bring your feet at least hip width apart. And then we're going to lift the hips high, moving into downward facing dog. So first one of the practice here, take your time coming into it. Maybe walk it out a little bit. Check in with your hands and wrists, making sure that they're shoulder width distance apart. Checking in with the ankles and heels. They should be hip bones distance apart. Draw the navel up and in as you press your chest towards your thighs. Beautiful. Remember to breathe. And walk your feet forward to the top of your space. And move into ragdoll here. So feet hip bones distance apart or even a little wider if you'd like. This is my first one of the day as well, so I'm going to bend my knees a lot here. Let my torso hang really heavy and allow your head to fully relax. Neck is relaxed. And maybe as you're in this posture a little longer, you can begin to straighten the knees a little bit, drawing the tailbone up. Weight is slightly forward into the balls of your feet. Good. Now, arms are interlaced here. We're going to slowly roll open and rise all the way up to standing, and then roll to the other side and back down, bending the knees as you lower. Let's go that direction again. Inhale, rise up. Nice big circle. Exhale, lower down, bending the knees. And then we'll switch directions. Other side. Inhale, rise up. And exhale, we lower. One more time. Inhale. Exhale. Good. All the way back down into the ragdoll here. Bend your knees, hands to hips. Slowly rise up all the way to standing. Good. Bring the arms up high overhead. Palms touch one another. And slowly make your way over to the right. Press your hips to the left as you bring the shoulders to the right. Weight is even in both heels. And perhaps you gaze up under the left shoulder here. Good. Bottom ribs pull slightly forward. Remember to breathe. Good. Return to center. Inhale. And then opposite side on your exhale. Good. Navel pulls into spine here, supporting the back. Breathe. And release. Rise up. Good. Big breath in. Exhale, forward fold. Moving into our sun salutations. Halfway lift is your inhale. And on your exhale, step back to a high plank. We're going to pause here for just a moment. Lift the right foot up and then the left. And then the right and the left. Good. Working a little strength here in our planks. Right, left, right, left. You got this. Again, right, left. Drop down in the knees, lower all the way down to the belly. Little spine strengthening here. So interrupting our sun salutations with a little cobra pose. So press the tops of your feet into the mat. Tuck those elbows in and lift the chest and shoulders up. So we're not using our hands here to lift. We're using the strength along the spine to raise the shoulders up. Good. Release it down. Now interlace hands at your tailbone. Press palms towards one another. Lift chest and lift legs. Good. Now lift that one fist up and back towards the heels. Remember to breathe. Good. Release. Hands under shoulders. Press into a high plank. Breath in. Chaturanga is your exhale. Inhale through to upward facing dog, coming to the tops of the feet. Exhale, downward facing dog. Beautiful job. Breathe here. On your next exhale, we're going to make our way to the top of your mat. I was breathing slowly, clearly. Halfway lift is your inhale. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, rise all the way up to standing. Arms reach up, and then exhale, hands come to heart center. Good, here we go. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, hinge all the way forward. Inhale, halfway lift, long flat back here. Exhale, step back, moving right into chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Breathe here. Good. Really press into your hands, pushing your chest back towards your thighs, and roll the inner thighs towards the back of your space. Good. Release. Make your way to the top of your mat. One more time through our sun salutation. So halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, rise all the way up. Hands to heart, exhale. Here we go. Inhale. Forward fold, exhale. Halfway lift, inhale. Chaturanga is your exhale. Elbows into the ribs. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Good. Breathe here. Yeah, so the heels are striving gently towards the earth as the tailbone lifts up and back. But feel free to keep those knees bent as long as the spine stays straight and long. Relaxing the neck, let the head be heavy here. Good. Make your way back up to the top of your mat. Halfway lift is your inhale, and forward fold on your exhale. Sitting down into chair pose, Utkatasana, and breathe here. So I like to keep my feet about hip bones distance apart. Sit back into the heels. Belly pulls in, tailbone slightly under, but we still have that natural curve in the low back. Good. Hands come forward, breath in. And on your exhale, you're going to take a vertical twist. I'm twisting to the left first just so you can see me, but typically we would twist to the right first. Come back to center. And then twist to the opposite side on your exhale. That left knee is going to want to come forward here, so check in with those. Make sure you pull them back so they're right next to each other. Good. Back to center. Inhale. And on your exhale, airplane the arms. So keeping the chest lifted, shoulders down the back. Weight is still in the heels. Good. Remember to breathe. Inhale, rise all the way up. Exhale into a little back bend and then forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Step back into crescent lunge here. So we're going to step the left foot back, right foot stays in front. Bend that right knee deeply, back leg is straight. Good. Shoulders down the back as you work the tailbone down as well. And so we're going to do little squats here, little lunges. So lowering down, just bending the back knee here. Now I'm putting my hand on my front knee to remind that front knee not to straighten. It's going to stay bent the whole time. Just the back knee is bending and hovering over the mat. Now we're going to lower all the way down into a crescent moon. Arms reach up. So work those hip bones down and forward, getting a nice stretch into the hip flexors there on the left side. And the psoas as well. Remember to breathe. Beautiful job. Moving into half splits here. I'm going to bring my hands to my hips. Front leg is straight, toes flexed in. Pull that right hip back. Now it may help you to place a block on either side of the front leg there so that it gives you something to hold on to. Whatever works best for you, but keep the spine nice and long, chest stays lifted. Good, release. Come back into the crescent moon, curl the back toes under, and we'll rise back up to our crescent lunge. So all the way up, back knee is lifted. Good. Hands come forward, vertical twist to the right now. So finding that twist again towards the bent knee. Chest stays lifted. Good. Back to center, and then we'll open up into warrior two. Yeah, so check in with the feet. Make sure that front heel is in line with the arch of the back foot. Bend your front knee deeply and reach towards the front and back. And breathe. And release down, hands to the mat, step back. Lift the right leg up and lower down into chaturanga. Inhale into upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. So I did a one-legged chaturanga there. That's an option for you. You can also keep both feet down if you prefer. Good, so staying with the breath here in downward facing dog, maybe finding a little more depth in this posture as we continue to do it throughout our practice. And release forward to the top of your space, coming into a halfway lift on your inhale, and then a forward fold. Back into our chair pose here on your inhale. Good, hold here and breathe. Yeah, weight is in the heels. Hands come forward. So we're finding a vertical twist again. We're going to do it to both sides, so it doesn't matter really which side you do it to first here. Back to center as your inhale, and then twisting to the opposite side on your exhale. Stay deep in those hips. Yeah, I had to remind myself there. Sit back down, weight into the heels. Good. Coming back to center, inhale. Airplane arms on your exhale. Hold and breathe. A little lift through the chest. All the way up. Inhale, maybe a little back bend. Exhale, forward fold. Halfway lift, inhale. And then we'll step back into crescent on this side. So the right foot step back now, left foot is forward, left knee is bent, back leg is very straight and strong. Working the tailbone down just slightly. Good. Now we're going to come into our lunge squat. So bend the back knee, hover it, and come right back up. Again, reminding yourself to check in with that front knee so that it's not straightening as you come up. Beautiful job. Hold here, and then all the way down into crescent moon. Whatever we do to one side, we must do to the other as well, right? So finding a nice stretch here in the hip flexors and the psoas on the right side this time. If you use blocks on the other side for balance and stability, do it again here. Transitioning now into half split, straighten the front leg. Flex those front toes in towards the shin, and then pull the left hip back. Good. As you hinge at the hips, be careful of rounding through the upper back. Lift through the chest, a little up dog there in the chest. Good. Breathe. And then we release. Curl the back toes under. We're going to rise all the way back up into the crescent lunge. Bring the hands forward. Vertical twist now to the left, so we're twisting over the bent knee. Back leg is still really strong. Press into that back heel. Good, back to center, and then open to warrior two. So left foot in front for a warrior two here. And remember to breathe. Good, release, come back into your high plank. You're gonna lift the left foot now, lowering into a one-legged chaturanga if you choose. Moving into upward facing dog with an inhale and downward facing dog with our exhale. Beautiful job, breathe here. Taking a moment to gather in all of the benefits of the movements you've just made. Preparing ourselves for the next section of class. And release, come to the top of your mat here. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Back into chair pose here. This time hands come to heart center, moving into a prayer twist to the right. So left elbow is going to come outside of the right knee. Now my feet are hip bones distance apart. Your feet could be together. That's an option. We're going to work the right elbow on top of the left. Now shift your gaze down to the right foot, lift the left foot, and step back into a revolved crescent. So just one little move there, shooting that left leg back. Remember to breathe. Yes, beautiful job. Release, come back up into crescent lunge. So reaching up and then open into warrior two. Straighten that front leg. Triangle pose. So pop the hips back, reach forward, and find 6 and 12 with the hands. Now the bottom hand, the palm faces out away from the leg, just in front of that shin there. Be careful not to lean on the shin. You should be able to move that bottom hand around, no problem. So we're using a lot of core strength to hold the torso up here. Good. Roll the bottom ribs slightly forward and draw those inner thighs towards one another, feeling a lot of strength in the legs, holding you in this beautiful posture. Release back to warrior two and breathe. Good. So lots of holds here, working on endurance and stamina, staying with our breath. Release to a high plank. Lifting the right leg now, lower into chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Yeah, breathe here. Release, make your way to the top of your mat. We're going to work through the other side now. Halfway lift, inhale. Forward fold, exhale. Inhale into chair pose. Exhale, hands come to the heart center in prayer. Take a breath in as you lean forward and then twist now to the left as you exhale. Good. Stay back in your heels for the weight. Sit your hips down nice and low, creating a nice long straight spine here. Good. Gaze comes down to the left foot as you shift your weight over, lifting the right foot and shooting it back so that you've just magically made your way into revolved crescent lunge. Be careful of dropping that right hip. Pick it up. Be strong in the back leg. Yeah, there you go. And release, coming back into crescent. Arms up, open into warrior two. We're here for just a moment, and then we'll straighten that front leg. Oh, just kidding, we're gonna stay here. Now we're gonna move, straighten the front leg, moving into triangle pose on this side. Good, so once you've found triangle pose, find those little subtle movements that you can here. So working the tailbone towards the back heel, sliding the shoulder blades down the back, and dragging the front heel towards the back foot. Remember to breathe. Good, release into warrior two. Beautiful job. Stay with your breath. And release. Step back into high plank. This time the left leg lifts as you lower chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Beautiful. Breathe here. And release, walk your feet forward, come to the top of your mat, halfway lift as you inhale, and exhale, fold. Rise all the way up to standing. Take a moment here at standing. Go fix my pants. All right. Moving into dancer's pose, reach the right arm up, bend the left knee, take hold of that left foot at the arch, so palm faces away from you. As you exhale, you'll just slowly begin to kick into your hand, staying lifted through your chest. Good. We're here for 10 full rounds of breath, so take your time coming into your fullest expression of the posture today. And if you fall out, that's all right. Just take your time, come back in. Remember to breathe. Your release from dancers is airplane pose. So reach those hands back, straighten that lifted leg. Good. Now tuck the left knee behind the right and squat down. Good. Inhale, lift it up. Exhale, squat it down. Yes, keep the chest lifted. Inhale. Exhale. Yes, you can do this. Inhale. Exhale. Squat lower. Again, inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And step it back. Beautiful job. And so we're going to move into pyramid pose here. So shorten the stance a little bit. Both legs are straight, back heel is down. Hinge forward, nice long flat back here. So option here is to take a block. It really helps me a lot here to grab hold of my block. And I'll place my right hand on my right hip crease and pull that hip and glute back a little bit. So it just feels so good after doing those squats. It feels really good to lengthen and stretch through the hamstrings and the glutes here. Good, release. We're gonna rise all the way up and work into warrior two. We're back. Let's find a little reverse triangle, straightening the front leg and then launching into half moon. Yeah, so I like to use my block, especially today. It seemed particularly hard to balance. Some days are better than others, right? Lifting that top leg and lifting the top arm. See if you can see your lifted toes out of the corner of your eye. If not, move that foot forward a little bit. Oh, see, experimented a little bit with letting go of the block, but needed it. Step back into warrior two. And then all the way up into star. And then as you exhale, hinge forward into Prasarita, wide-legged forward fold. So shorten your stance as much as you need to so that your head's not resting on the ground. Feet to the outer ankles here. I want you to use your hands to press inward on your ankles, but then press your ankles back into your hands. Weight is slightly forward into the balls of the feet. Now you can bend your knees here as much as you need to get the spine straight. So that is what matters here. Remember to breathe. And release. Make your way towards the back of your mat now. So left foot is in front and find standing splits. So it doesn't matter how high that leg lifts. You can see mine's not exceptionally high. You can walk the fingertips back in line with the toes, forehead towards the shin, maybe one or both hands around the calf, totally up to you. We're here just briefly. And see, we're already releasing down into Malasana here. So drop those hips down. I'm going to turn and face you just so you can see, but you can continue to face the back of your mat. Elbows just inside the knees, gently prying the knees open. Feel free to place a block under your glutes if that helps with your stability here. And breathe. Good, we'll release here. Feet back to hip width apart. Forward fold. And then rise all the way up. And then we'll pause here for just a moment before we begin the other side. Good, so this time, left arm up, right knee is bent. Take hold of the inside, the arch of the right foot. Palm faces out so that your shoulder rolls open. Each breath in, you'll get a little longer. Each breath out, you're going to kick it a little bit deeper, working into your fullest expression of dancer's pose. Take your time. Good. Your release is airplane pose. Oh, and Jiva squat straight in. Keep that chest lifted. As you exhale, lower and chamber the knees. Good. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. You got this. Inhale. Exhale. Good. Inhale. Exhale. Beautiful job. Inhale, lift and step it back. You did it. Beautiful job. Let's give ourselves a little break here. So shorten the stance a little bit. All 10 toes point towards the top of your mat. Moving into pyramid pose, hinging at the hips. Nice long straight back here. Yeah, grab that block. It really helps. Left hand to left hip, pulling the hip back towards the back of the mat. And breathe. Good, release. Place that block back up at the top of your mat. You'll need that here in just a minute. We're going to open up into Warrior Two. Good. Straightening the front leg and launch into Half Moon. Woo, almost lost that one. Take your time. Make sure the standing foot toes are pointing straight ahead. Roll the hips open so one hip is stacked on top of the other. So it really helps in any balancing posture to find a place to place your gaze and keep it right there the whole time. Remembering to breathe. Good. Release it back. And turning to the side here, now we're going to make our way into prone frog. So you're going to come onto your knees. I'm going to show you, I'm going to turn to the side, but you can stay as you are. You're going to line up your hip with your knee. So a straight line there. Tendency is to either go forward or back a little bit. Shins come straight back, perpendicular to the thighs, and then flex the toes in. So you want to bring those knees as wide as you can. Now notice I'm going to stay up on my forearms here as I draw the belly in. So there's only the natural C curve in the back. We don't want it to drop, the belly to drop down there and create a strain on the low back. So resist the urge to really rest in the upper body. Stay engaged all the way throughout. And then breathe into those inner thighs. This is the kind of posture that gets a lot more intense. It's sort of deceiving when we first get in and can become a lot more intense as we stay in it. So the way to come out is to slide forward onto your belly. Seems to be the easiest. And then make your way back into your forward fold and walk to the top of your mat. So now the right foot's in front, coming into standing splits on this side. Good. So roll the inner thigh of the lifted leg up towards the ceiling. So that'll drop the left hip down so it's even with the right. We want the hips pointing straight down. Good. And release. Feet are back to hip bones distance, halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, forward fold, step back to high plank. Here we go, high plank. Now, little core work here. Drop the right knee, and then the left knee, and then the right, and the left. So continue on just like this, holding your plank and bending each knee one at a time until it almost or just barely touches the mat. Good. Press that space between your shoulder blades up towards the ceiling. Almost there. And release. Come all the way down onto the belly. Right ear to the mat, palms face up at your sides. Just take a moment to take a rest here. You've certainly earned it. But don't get too comfortable because we're not quite finished yet. Reach the right arm forward, palm face down, forehead to the mat. Bend your left knee and reach back with the left hand. Grab hold of the top of your foot. If you can't quite get it, you can use a strap here. And then kick into your hand, opening up that left shoulder. Keep pressing the knee down into the mat. You can lift even the right shoulder up, pushing into the right hand. Good. Remember to breathe. Breaths might be a little bit more shallow, but that's okay. Go ahead and release. Good, and then we'll switch sides. So left hand forward, reach it long, bend the right knee, take hold of the foot or your strap, and then kick into your hand or strap. Press into your left hand, lifting the upper arm off of the mat. Now the straight leg is strong. Press the top of that foot into the mat. Remember to breathe. Beautiful job. Release. Opposite ear to the mat, palms face up. Let your heels roll out. Give yourself a moment here to fully rest. All right, moving into floor bow, Dhanurasana. Bend both knees, take hold of the tops of your feet. And then as you're ready, kick into your hands, lifting your chest, maybe lifting the thighs. If you have any knee pain or knee injury, keep your thighs pressing down into the mat. Neck is long as a full extension of the spine. And breathe. Beautiful job. Feel the opening through the shoulders, through the chest. And release. Lowering all the way down. And then let's press back into embryo pose. So knees come together, hips to heels. And you can either reach your arms forward, or I really love to take my hands back by my feet so my shoulders can completely round forward and soften. All right, let's release. Back into downward facing dog. Reach the right leg up and back. And then as you exhale, draw that right knee to the right shoulder. Shoulders come over the wrist here. Inhale, bring it up and back. Exhale, cross that right knee over to the left tricep or shoulder. Good. Inhale, bring it up. Exhale, right knee to right shoulder. Hold here. Now bring that knee across to the left, back to the right, to the left, and to the right. Again, bring it to the left and to the right and all the way down into half pigeon. Yes. Flex the front toes in. Make sure that the thigh of the front leg is pointing straight ahead and back leg is pointing straight back out of the hip socket. Good, so we want to press down with the left hip bones towards the mat. And then walk your hands forward so you can keep your arms straight, chest fully lifted, or come down onto your forearms if you'd like. Now this is an active posture, so even though we're seated and it can be tempting to just sort of relax into wherever you are in this, I'd invite you to stay really active, pressing the left hip bone towards the mat and pulling that right glute back towards the back of your mat. Really getting into the piriformis and the glutes here. Breathe. Release, walk the hands back, curl the back toes under, come into a down dog kick, right leg up and back, shake it out. Bend your knee, open your hips, stay here or work into flipping your dog. Reach back, lift the chest, press the hips high. Yes, big full breaths here. Beautiful posture. Release back into your downward facing dog. Oh, that feels good. Let's do the left side. Bring that left leg up and back. Big breath in. Exhale, left knee to left shoulder. Shoulders over the wrists here. Inhale, bring it up. Exhale, cross it to the right tricep or shoulder. Good. Inhale, left leg up. Exhale to the left shoulder. And then cross to the right. Left, right, left, right. And into your half pigeon. Good. Now, what I failed to mention before is if that the hip where the knee is bent, if that hip is lifted, that glute is really hovering off of the mat, I'd like you to take a block and place it under there, or a blanket or a pillow or something to give it a little bit of support so it's not hanging out. And then again, staying active here. So flex the front toes in towards the shin. Press the back leg into the mat. And then actively drive the left glute and hip bone towards the back of your mat. And breathe. Release, walk the hands in, sweep that left leg back, shake it out, down dog kick, and bend your knee, open your hips, stay there, or if you did it on the other side, flip your dog, really lifting the chest and the hips, reach with that top arm, breathe. And release back into downward facing dog. Good. Go ahead and come on down into seated. And then move into Janu Shirshasana here. So straighten the right leg out at an angle. Sole of the left foot comes into the thigh. And flex those right toes in. Turn your torso up over that straight leg there. And then hinge forward. You can take hold of your toes, hold of your shin. But keep the spine long here, lifting through the chest as you hinge. Good. Now we're going to get into the side bodies here in the QL. Take that right hand inside of the right leg. Left hand comes up and over to cradle the head. And I want you to push into your right hand to create a really big arch here as you draw that elbow up and over towards the foot out in front of you. So we're really getting into the side here. And if you have a tight QL, you're going to feel it. And hopefully it will feel really good. Or at least feel like it should feel good. Release, slowly come up. And then we'll switch to the other side. So same exact thing on this side. Flex those toes in. Turn your torso over that straight leg and hinge first. So we're getting into the hamstring first here. Good, release that. Now place the left hand inside of the left leg. Right hand comes up and over, cradling the head. And really find an arc here with the rib cage, pushing into the bottom hand to allow the ribs to expand even more on that right side. Good. Breathe. And release. All right, now we're going to come all the way down onto our back. Always a good sign in a yoga practice. Hug those knees in. Plant your feet on the mat. Knees are bent, fingertips down towards the heels here for bridge pose. Tuck the tailbone towards the backs of the heels. Walk those shoulders in. So we're creating a little lift there. Please gaze only up during this posture, protecting your neck. Good, shift the weight into the left foot and straighten that right leg out. Good, lift the hips again. Notice if you've dropped. Beautiful, release. Staying with the hips up and switch the weight into the right foot. Left leg is lifted now. Nice straight and strong leg. Press into that foot. Good, release back into your bridge. Hold here and breathe. Now, we're going to move into a posture. I want to bring your hands to your sacrum. Fingertips point to either side. And shift your weight into your hands here. So it's really important here that your shoulder blades are drawing in towards one another, creating a space here so there's no weight in the neck. Legs are straight up in the air. Just an alternative way to get an inversion. Chin stays away from the chest. Good, release the feet back down to the mat. Walk the shoulders out, lower the top, middle, and then low back. Keep your knees bent, walk your feet to the outer edge, and let your knees fall together at the middle. Take a moment here. Good, release. Pull those knees in. Moving into a supine twist. Right knee comes up towards the right shoulder outside of the rib cage. Shift those hips over a little bit and then draw that right knee across the body. Chin over the right shoulder here, completing that twist. Now that right shoulder should rest on the mat. So if it's lifted, I want you to come out of the twist a little bit so that you can reconnect that right shoulder to the mat. Breathe. Release, pulling both knees back in. And keep the left knee in, right leg long. Pull the knee up towards the shoulder around the rib cage, giving a little squeeze there. And draw the knee across the body, perhaps shifting the hips over to the left. Chin over the left shoulder now, completing the twist. And breathe. Release. Pull both knees back in one more time. Draw the forehead up into the knees. And release into your Shavasana for today. Heels about as wide as the mat. Let your toes roll out. Palms face up at your sides. Allow yourself the gift of staying here for a few more moments this afternoon or whenever it is that you're taking this. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. Namaste.